The History Lounge presents Growing Up in the 70s. Ooh, I'm a reader. I can read. You see? I can read.
If you grew up in the 1970s, chances are you had a very different kind of childhood from what kids have today. In the days before helicopter parents, playdates, and participation trophies, there was a generation of kids who grew up with less supervision and more self-reliance. While our parents contended with gas lines, political turmoil,
I'm not a crook.
and economic crises, we were riding our bikes with our friends,
Bro, those bikes are so old.
often miles away from home. We roamed the streets until dark, returning to homes filled with lead paint and secondhand smoke. Over the course of a 1970s childhood, we were going to make some questionable choices, take some risks, get scraped, scratched, and sunburnt, leaving us with both scars and memories we'd carry for a lifetime. Please join me for a return to the days when Tonka trucks were made out of metal and Lego sets didn't require instructions, only imagination. Please join me as we take an authentic look back to see what growing up was really like for kids in the 1970s.
Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. Come on. Safety first.
Kids today are harnessed into booster seats until they're 10 years old and are expected to put on helmets before they get on a tricycle. Let's just say that the generation of parents who raised us were a little less safety conscious. To start with, most of us came home from the hospital wrapped up in a blanket on mom's unbuckled lap. As soon as we learned to crawl, we'd be climbing back and forth over the seats and making ourselves comfortable wherever we felt like. Instead of drop-down video screens and iPads, we amused ourselves with the radio buttons, window cranks, and ashtrays, learning the hard way that the cigarette lighter can still be very hot even if it isn't still glowing red. If your family had a station wagon, sitting in the cargo area was like riding around in a playroom on wheels. Although our family's Caprice estate didn't have the rear-facing third-row seat, it did have a power rear window, which my mom was happy to roll down if we asked. We then proceeded.
This actually looks lit though. Like, bruh, I never got to experience this, man. I'm a double O baby though, man. If I don't know what double O is, basically whoever was born in the 2000s to 2010. But yeah.
To hang out the back, making faces at the cars behind us as we inhaled the leaded fumes drafting back up from the exhaust. If your family didn't have a station wagon, you could always stretch out and relax on the back window deck, watching the telephone wires rise and fall against the sky as they sailed past those endless miles of wooden utility poles. While it would be considered outrageous today, on long car trips, it was the perfect place for a kid to take a nap.
Wow.
Us 70s kids learned at a young age to value our freedom. We dreamt of the day we could finally drive a car, with most of us lining up to take our road test the day we turned 16. Until that day, we contented ourselves by playing with any toy we could find that had wheels on it, and there were plenty of options. Family trips to Kmart sometimes led to a treasured new Matchbox or
Oh, that's how I know this shit is old. Kmart? Is this store even still around? My nigga, this store haven't been talked about since 2010. Like, that was the last time I heard of Kmart. Like, what? Damn. Oh my gosh. This just strike the memory.
Family trips to Kmart sometimes led to a treasured new Matchbox or Hot Wheels car that we could race across the kitchen floor or through loops and jumps on those orange segmented tracks. You might have parked your cars in the Fisher-Price parking garage, the one with the crank-up elevator and the loud bell, or maybe rolled them down the ramps to the multi-level Hot Wheels service center.
You might hate me for saying this, but I grew up with this right here. These little tracks, these little Hot Wheel tracks. Yeah, I grew up with these, but it wasn't as big as the tracks y'all had. Shit, my shit was small, cause you know what I'm saying, nigga was broke. I ain't have shit. So my track was small as hell, but damn, you got a car wash, you got a gas station, okay.
There were SSP racers, which you'd power by yanking a plastic zipper cord to get the metal flywheel spinning as fast as possible before letting it loose down the sidewalk. This was the same way you powered smash-up derby cars, which were also from SSP.
Okay, I'm sorry for pausing, but you see, with these type of cars, we didn't have these type of cars. We had the cars where you had to like scrape it against the floor like this, and you hear like a little and then it just moves. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should know what I'm talking about. This type of car right here, though, this should look creative.
It was the same way you powered smash-up derby cars, which were also from SSP. The Evel Knievel stunt bike was powered by a hand crank built into the launch ramp, and the bendy little Evel Knievel action figure always managed to hang on and stay upright no matter what the terrain. We had electric train sets, slot car tracks, Tonka trucks for the sandbox, speed burners that we'd race across the kitchen floor, and penny racers.
This looks so lit,
And
dog.
the girls weren't left out. Not only did your sister's Barbie drive a Corvette, she had an RV and dune buggy to boot. But even
Pulling up
better
in that
than the
RV.
toy cars were the ones you could ride.
Pedal power.
Thanks to our favorite role model, Evel Knievel, the life plan of every little boy growing up in the 1970s was as follows. 1. Get a bike. Preferably a Schwinn Stingray, and if possible, the top-of-the-line crate model with front and rear suspension, disc brakes, and a 5-gear stick shift on the crossbar.
Bro, the last time I saw a bike like this, and I've never seen a bike like this in real life, but I've seen one in a movie. The last movie I seen this in was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but this bike is so ancient.
2. Learn how to ride said bike without training wheels. And finally, 3. Become the hero of your neighborhood by jumping your bike over a record number of garbage cans, other kids, or maybe just a big stack of flaming cardboard boxes. Of course, even Evel had to start somewhere, and so did we.
Big wheels.
You may remember rolling yourself in circles between the hand-operated wheels of a crazy car, or steering into impressive spinouts, gripping the steering levers of a green machine. There were pedal tractors, pedal cars, and those janky homemade go-karts we hammered together with scrap wood and old lawnmower wheels.
Oh my gosh, what? Y'all was making little tricycles with wood? Y'all are creative, man. This is unique, dog. Why the freak can I be in this generation?
The scrap wood and old lawnmower wheels. But for many 70s kids, myself included, our first taste of real self-propelled freedom was found behind the bright yellow handlebars of the original Marx Big Wheel. Our big wheels ran on pedal power, fueled by imagination. And thanks to all the cop shows
Look how
we
fast that
watched,
joint going.
our imaginations had plenty of scenarios to work with.
Man, that joint was moving, bro. Man, I have to be in a generation with stupid ass hoverboards and shit, bro. Why can I just be in this generation where, you know what I'm saying, shit was getting made from hand?
And of course, if you were big wheeling with a buddy, you just needed to decide who was going to be Ponch and who was going to be John.
Oh, this looks so fire, man.
Introduced in 1969 and made in Pennsylvania, the Marx Big Wheel reigned as the king of America's sidewalks from the early 1970s through the mid-1980s. And while a version of the Big Wheel is still available today, it's just not quite the same as it was in the 1970s.
It's not at all. I know that for a fact, bro. Like, anything that was made in the 1970s, 1960 days, bro, if you try to get it nowadays, it's not going to be the same. They done did a whole bunch of shit to it. It's not going to be the same equipment. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the same shit. Regardless if you think it is, it's not.
With so many families moving out of the cities and into the new suburbs that were sprouting up far outside of the metro areas, many of us found ourselves living in neighborhoods right on the edge of large tracts of land that were still undeveloped. Eventually, all of these spaces would be turned into new subdivisions or future roads. But until that happened, us kids just referred to these areas as the woods. Depending on where you live,
Woods.
your woods might be hiding old rail lines, rock quarries, or even long abandoned houses. Some of these areas had been untouched for decades, so you never knew what you might discover out there.
That bit look like the hood. Talking about the woods. Change that W and make it an H, gang. I ain't gonna care. This shit look like the hood.
You
What?
could be out in the woods hunting the ponds for turtles and tadpoles and come across old tires, ancient washing machines, old car parts, and sometimes even old cars. Of course, thanks to the new houses that were being built everywhere, there was always a ready supply of scrap wood that we scavenged to build hideouts and tree forts back inside. Over time, these little shacks would come to house small stashes of mismatched beer cans, near empty packs of cigarettes, and various weather-worn issues of a popular magazine published by the late Hugh Hefner. You
Oh
could be out
my god, that's how I know this is old. Danger. Oh my gosh. I don't know if y'all can see it because my camera, but look, bro, that danger. I don't even be seeing that no more. I rarely see this shit.
Hugh Hefner. You could be out exploring the woods all day, getting into all sorts of potential trouble, but as long as you made it home by dark, your parents never seemed too concerned about what you'd been doing, or even inquire much as to where you had been.
The neighborhood. Oh yeah, I know the
All of you
neighborhood
first
was
friends.
active. I'm already knowing. I'm gonna go back because I was talking over him, but I'm already knowing the neighborhood was definitely getting active.
All of your first friendships started with the other kids in your neighborhood, and while these may not have been the same kids you'd hang around with at school, your neighborhood friends were just a doorbell away. That's all that mattered when you were putting together a game of street hockey or backyard baseball. By the way, does anyone else remember what you did when you saw a moving van getting unloaded into one of the houses on your street? You and your friends would just walk right over, ring the doorbell, and ask whoever answered if there were any kids inside who wanted to come out and play. The thing is, neighborhoods were just more neighborly in the 1970s. And as a neighborhood kid, you were pretty much welcome to run around and play wherever you wanted, as long as you weren't causing any trouble. Back then, we were taught to be responsible for our own actions. If you got hurt doing something stupid on someone else's property, your parents weren't going to go sue the property owner. They'd just patch you up and tell you to be more careful next time. Back in the days before social media made everybody antisocial, people just seemed to get along better with each other, and they actually knew a lot of their neighbors. I remember one summer when one of our neighbors got a permit from the city to shut down the street for a block party. That day, families up and down the block hauled their picnic tables, folding chairs, charcoal grills, and coolers out into the street. While the adults drank beer and socialized with each other, us kids took advantage of the chance to ride our bikes, big wheels, or roller skates down the middle of the closed-off street.
Bro taking off. I was listening, but I'm watching bro take off on that joint.
While words can
Listen to the music.
often fall short of expressing what something truly felt like, great music can sometimes help fill in the blanks. And in the 70s, we had some of the best music of all time. To really get a sense of what it was like to be young in the 70s, keep watching.
Y'all had Bob Marley.
And if this helps bring
Bob Marley a goat though.
back any good memories,